Bro, like, he's 5. Like, hit him with the chair. Like, hello and welcome to Dr. What? I'm Sarah Trainer.
And I'm Jeannette Chen. And if you are astute, dear listeners, you would have noticed that our audio quality is still on the up and up. And that's because Sarah and I were having such a good time recording together that we decided to record 2 more episodes, but this isn't one.
Yes, we've been doing a huge marathon of Doctor Who, back-to-back, quadruple feature. It has been fun. Do you want to get into the synopsis? You want to jump right into it?
Sure. So, as I already mentioned, this episode is going to be combining the 2-parter of, The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to read both synopses at once, and we're going to treat both episodes kind of as one thing, since it's pretty much one thing. So, first synopsis. Chasing a metallic object through the time vortex, the 9th Doctor and his companion Rose Tyler arrive in London during the Blitz. While Rose meets Captain Jack Harkness, the dashing time agent responsible for bringing the object, the Doctor finds a group of homeless children terrorized by Jamie, an empty child wearing a gas mask. So, The Doctor Dances, synopsis 2. The child's plague is spreading throughout wartime London, and its zombie army is on the march. The 9th Doctor and Rose form an alliance with intergalactic con man, Captain Jack, but find themselves trapped in the abandoned hospital. They head to the crash site of Jack's supposed space junk and discover the ground zero for the mysterious plague.
Dun, dun, dun.
Done.
All right, I'll get into the fun facts. So most of these are for the empty child, but I feel like there's lots of overlap, so let's go. When Captain Jack mocks the Doctor and Rose for their out-of-place outfits, he is actually spot on. The Doctor's leather jacket is, in fact, a vintage 1938 German U-boat commander's jacket.
No way.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, that's why you like it so much, because it's German. Sorry, that was out of pocket.
Oh my god! Just because I like I'm not even gonna, okay.
We're not gonna get into it.
No, we're not gonna get into guys.
Well, that is a really interesting thing.
Yeah, I wonder, like, why.
Maybe it's based on, remember when, in the first episode, when Rose is going through and, like, at the guy's house, you know, and she's looking through the historic pictures of the Doctor.
Yeah.
Maybe it has something to do with that. Like, he got one fit and then he never changed it. Dude, he knows what works. And if the jacket works on him, I won't lie. I saw your leather jacket, Miss Doctor. Okay, I'll stop saying it. But that is really interesting. They do a good job with outfits in this show.
Yeah.
But anyway, continue.
So, Captain Jack Harkness is the first openly LGBT character in Doctor Who.
Woo! Yippee!
He's technically an omnisexual because he's attracted to aliens. Anyway.
Oh, he's omnisexual.
Why isn't the O in LGBTQ? That's what I want to know.
Well, it's LGBTQ+. Obviously, the plus includes the O.
But it's like LGBTQIA+.
Plus.
And then, like, 2S for Two-Spirit, which is what they do in, like, Canada. But then there's no O.
Because there's a plus after.
Yeah, but, like, there's the P, which is pansexual. Like, I feel like the plus, you know which letters are after the plus. But, like, O isn't there.
Obviously, it's invisible. Because...
Obviously
it's invisible. Well, also,
right,
if there was an O in there, people would probably make it Omega or something instead.
We need more Omega representation.
That one's for our friend Julian. Julian, if you're listening, that one's for you.
Julian's nesting right now as we speak.
Oh, God. He needs to take his pill. His suppressant. I can't even talk about this right now. Let's go on to the next one.
Yeah. In Stephen Moffat's initial pitch, Captain Jack was originally called Captain Jax, an interstellar alien soldier who befriends the Doctor but intimidates Rose. He was to be tracking an escaped child creature, the story's antagonist, while posing as an English officer. Honestly, that's the worst part about this. Like, I'm glad they made him American.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm glad as well. Like, also, that, like, scrapped thing is way worse than this.
Stephen Moffat suggested making Jack a human from the future rather than an alien to avoid having too many extraterrestrials present in 1941 London. His relationship with Rose was made more flirtatious, helping to establish Russell T Davies' vision of the character as omnisexual.
Okay, yes, Russell T Davies.
He's to thank for it.
He cooked it up. Well, what were you saying before, that he's the only LGBT Doctor Who member in real life or something?
Oh, yeah. I saw this thing on Tumblr where it was like someone was looking through the TARDIS wiki and they had a list of like openly like LGBT Doctor Who characters. And then they had like a tab that was like LGBT people like in real life, and Russell T Davies was like the only one there. He's the only one.
Is carrying the weight of this fucking show on his back. He is.
So, last fact, these episodes landed Stephen Moffat a Hugo Award. So, last episode we were talking about how Paul Cornell was nominated for it and Stephen Moffat beat him. It was for these episodes.
I think that if Father's Day didn't have, like, the glaringly bad CGI, it would have beaten this.
I agree.
Because I seriously think that even though the CGI is still, like, you know, it's a lot more tasteful, and I think that helped. Because plot-wise, I mean, we're going to get into this more, but I feel like it wasn't as good as the last one.
I agree. I have one more fun fact for you. This needs to be said.
Yes.
There was another Bad Wolf reference here. Very hidden.
I missed it again.
Well, okay, this one was difficult. So the German bomb Jack sits atop while his Chula spaceship uses a tractor beam to keep it from impacting. Has the words, I'm sorry to our German listeners.
I got it.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah. Schlechter Wolf.
Okay.
Sarah's literally like salivating right now because I said something in German.
Stop. This is making me sound so bad. But what's interesting is that it's kind of like a bad like translation because it means bad in the sense of like inadequate rather than like the fairy tale-esque thing that like they're trying to evoke with Bad Wolf. A more proper translation would be, Jeanette.
That's the umlaut. It'd be like böse, I think. Wolf.
Okay.
Böse. I know. I can't pronounce the umlaut very well. I'm so sorry.
Leia
is gonna like listen to this and be like, this.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think that you did a good job.
I did it. So I have to learn German for my master's. So
do you?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was either that or French and Italian, and no way I'm doing French because, come on, French. And Italian's just whatever to me, so.
Pasta. No, stop. I'm going to stop talking.
That was crazy. I'm cutting that one out. That one, I can't even deal with that one.
Okay, no, yeah, so fair. Anyways.
Yes.
What was your favorite part of the episode?
So, do we want to talk about, how do we want to handle it being a two-parter?
Yeah. Honestly, if we're like mushing it all together, to be honest, here's my thing. My favorite part across both episodes was consistent.
Okay. Do I know what it is?
You know what it is.
Why don't you say it then?
It's Captain Jack Harkness.
Whoa, yeah!
How could it not be? Dude.
Woo!
Dude.
Yeah.
He
was really good.
Here's the thing. I look back on these episodes fondly. Like, I see them as, like, standout episodes in this season. Rewatching it, I'm gonna be honest, I have a vendetta against Stephen Moffat. I think there were lots of great parts in these episodes, but I feel like it being a two-parter stretched it out a bit. There was lots of stuff going on. Every time Captain Jack appeared on screen, I felt like butterflies, euphoria, like, dude, the brain rot that he induced in me, like, he was amazing. I couldn't even, like, when he's flirting with Rose and then it, like, cuts to, like, the Doctor's, like, plot line or whatever, which is literally the main plot line. I didn't give a fuck. I'm so sorry.
You were just like, Rose was like, I think you're talking right now.
No, literally. I was just waiting for him to come back, and, like, maybe that's bad of me. I don't know.
I don't think that's bad of you.
No,
He was a standout part of the episode.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'll be crucified for this, but personally, he doesn't do anything for me appearance-wise. I'm not into him appearance-wise, but the character, whew, I was like, oh man, okay, all right.
He's so handsome, though.
He doesn't do it for me.
You have to, no, Jeanette, like, he's an American. We have to stick by him.
Well, obviously.
He has fantastic teeth.
That's classist. That is classist.
Sorry. It was meant to be against British people in general, not classist. It was meant to be. What would that be like?
Anyway, Anglophobic.
Anglophobic, yeah.
But he's the actor who, what is his name? It's like John Barrowman. John Barrowman. Yeah. I mean, he just exuded Riz. Like, it was crazy.
Like, every scene he's in. Yeah. Like, in his outfit, too. Like, that coat. Like, we were talking about how he is, like, the trope of that, like, dashing American, like, soldier. Yeah. And, like, I'm a pacifist, but it was working.
Please. Okay, so Jack is your favorite part of the episode. That, I can't disagree. I don't know. I think my favorite part of the episode was what Jack did to the Doctor and Rose. Dude, you know what I mean?
Their dynamic between the three of them?
Crazy.
I have never seen, like, a polycule in action on TV. Stop. Dude. Oh
that
my
was
God.
Crazy. Like, there was so much happening. Like, the way Rose, Flirtmaster Rose, was getting right back in there. Oh my God, the bit with the psychic paper. That really got me. Yeah. I was like, ooh. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. I like this. I like where this is going. But yeah, and the way the Doctor reacted, man, that was good.
Yeah, crazy. I love how Rose has all these boyfriends.
She collects them.
But, like, I love how the show doesn't really pass judgment on her for that. Like, it's just kind of, like, a thing. Like, she's a messy 19-year-old exploring time and space. She doesn't know what she wants, but she likes hot guys. And is it fair to Mickey? Absolutely not. I'm Mickey Defense Squad. But I also feel like, I don't know, man. I hate it when shows try to, like, I don't know, like, impose, like, morals on, like, human relationships. Well, human is a loose term here, whatever. But you know what I mean?
I know
like,
what you mean.
Relationships just are. And I love how, like, Rose...
It does that.
Yeah. Like, that's just who she is. That's the point in, like, her life where she's at. You know, it's not... It just is.
Yeah.
And it sucks for some people, and it's good for other people, but, like... She loves having boyfriends, and you know what?
I'm eating it up. As a viewer, I'm eating it up. Yeah. I won't lie. I also just thought of another, like, favorite part across 2 episodes that is kind of goofier, but when Nancy gave that guy the fucking lowdown, when she snatched his wig off, tore it off.
Yeah.
The wig cap's off, too. The glue, it's everywhere. Like, dude, when she was like... Yeah, people have been saying that your wife's been sleeping with the butcher, but I've been watching this house, and I know it's not her, it's you. So I'd like the wire cutters, please, and also to look through your pantry. Bye. And also use the bathroom. Bye.
Fantastic.
Literally, jaw to the floor, dropped. I see the sweat on your brow now. Crazy thing to say.
So
Crazy
good.
thing to say.
You know what? Here's my thing. Nancy kind of, like, annoyed me. I feel like she had, like, good moments. Like, that was a fantastic moment. Yes. I loved it. I loved, like, her character. Like, she's feeding, like, the homeless kids.
Yes.
I loved that. But it kind of just feels like she's, like, this girl boss character with a bunch of, like... She has lots of cool things about her, but she doesn't really feel real or fully fleshed out. And I feel like that's a problem with, like, Stephen Moffat, especially. Like, with Russell T. Davies, everyone feels like a human being. And Nancy just... Like, she had her moments, but, like, I didn't really, like, care. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I wanted to, but I just couldn't.
No, in general, for me, she was a flop. She was a miss.
Yeah.
Like, even her accent, I was like, okay, who's directing her? Sorry if that's your real accent, actress, but, like, I couldn't. I was like, okay. I don't know. I mean, I think we'll get into this, unless you want to go into it now, but least favorite parts of the episode. I had 2. I think... one of them was related to Nancy in that, like, it was this big reveal at the end where it's like, Jamie's not your brother, is he? And she's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, like, duh. I don't know. The entire time I was kind of like, you're really hammering it in there. Like, I don't know. The reveal wasn't as emotional for me because I didn't really care about Nancy that much. And it was ham-fisted, which can't be helped, I guess, because the whole thing of the episode is like, oh, he's this kid who got bombed and then the nanogenes, and that's the only thing he knows is, blah, blah. But I don't know. It just didn't do it for me.
I agree 100%. I really liked the idea there, especially because the whole tagline for the villain is, "Are you my mummy?" Like, he's looking for his mother, and she's the mother, but like, it just was not delivered well.
No. The way she was like, I can't tell you. There's some things I can't tell you. I've been keeping a secret.
Dude, the entire time, her entire character is just like, I'm not gonna reveal this information. She just, like, annoyed me so much.
Yeah, it was too much. It was too much for me.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. That's the thing about Stephen Moffat. Although I will say that he knows how to write chemistry, because that shit was...
You were taken in by the bisexual quips. The bisexual quipping. You were taken in by it.
I'm a victim of bisexual quipping.
That's how they get you.
I know, yeah. I mean, honestly, though, like... That's what, oh God, I hate saying this because I feel like these episodes are considered like New Who classics, but like, it just wasn't giving what I wanted it to give. It was just kind of like a lot of like sexual quips, like you said, and like they were fun in some parts for sure, and like those three characters had amazing chemistry, and like there were good moments, but like the plot just felt threadbare. It wasn't as creepy as I remembered it being. Like, it really just was not like the gas mask thing. Are you my mummy?
Are you my mummy? Are you Matilda? Are you my mummy?
I got really annoyed. Like, it kept being like, are you my mom? Like, okay, we get it. Like,
yeah, I feel like it could have been handled a little bit more delicately. You could have thrown those in not as often, I don't know.
Every single time. Like,
which I get it. Like, it made sense when they logicked it out with the nanogenes.
Right.
Like, so I could, but I didn't love it. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
This is another thing I think with Moffat's writing that bothered me. It's obvious that he has some contempt for what he's writing for. You know what I mean? Like, there were just these moments where... the whole scene with the sonic screwdriver where it's like, oh, you have of everything that you can make Sonic, it's a screwdriver, or like making fun of Eccleston's nose and ears. I thought that was uncalled for.
It definitely was, yeah.
Right? I was like, why are you making fun of the thing that you're writing for? Like, there's places for it.
Yeah.
Lord knows that Doctor Who is not the most serious show in existence.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, but you can do it in a productive way, like in the Dalek episode, where they wrote all the problems with the Dalek and they confronted them, and it was cool and awesome.
Yeah.
Or you can do this thing in the Moffat way, where you just kind of make fun of it the whole time. Or there was that line where Rose says to Jack that the Doctor's name is Spock, and then the Doctor's like, Spock? And she's like, well, like, what's I supposed to say? You don't got a name? Doctor Who. I was like, come on.
Dude, oh my God.
Come on.
And like every episode, it was very like self-referential. Like when Nancy is like, he's not a child, he's empty. Like, what does that mean?
He's the empty child. And then the amount of times that they said like, oh, the Doctor dances, like they referenced the title of the thing. I was like, guys,
it was annoying. Yeah, I did like that like scene though where she's flirting with him and she's like, the world doesn't end just because the Doctor dances, and he's like, you just assume that like I don't dance.
That made me feel crazy. That actually made me feel like so insane. I mean, I don't remember what point it was, but there was a moment where Sarah and I literally like clutched each other because it was so crazy.
I think that was Rose and Jack when like he grabs her waist
and he's like,
her, like,
that's a little harsh. I like to think of myself as a criminal.
Oh my God. And she asks him for the time and he like turns on Big Ben. Dude,
it got me. It got me, man. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But Yeah, there were a lot of charming things about this episode.
For sure, yeah.
I loved all of Rose and Jax and, all of that. I loved how she was like, that's a bit Flash. She was so coy this whole episode, which I really loved.
Yeah.
I loved seeing that side of her. I loved the bit at the end where Rose was like, you're like Father Christmas. And he's like, who says I wasn't Father Christmas? Red bicycle when you were 12.
Dude,
I
loved that. That was so cute.
But there were also a lot of misses for me.
Yeah. It felt very hit or miss, which I feel like Moffat's writing often is. And this was just like Moffat, just like in the span of 2 episodes, you either love it or it sucks, and it just comes out weird.
Yeah.
And I hate to be saying this because I was really excited to rewatch it, but I didn't feel like I wasn't attached to like these side characters. Like in the last episode, that couple's getting married and they're talking about like their like story and everything, and Nancy is just like, I'm Miss Girl Boss and I had this kid and like whatever. Like I don't know. I'm
just feeding the children because I lost somebody, my brother who's my son.
She felt like kind of more of a trope,
yes,
than like an actual person. Like,
she was a way for the plot to advance. Like it was the puzzle piece that made everything click into place at the very end. Which just.
Oh my god, no. Moffat is like the biggest. He is like the worst person when it comes to that.
I noticed it actually, because I'm not very familiar with Moffat's writing.
Right,
because
I feel like I'm priming you for disliking it. No, there are good things about it, but like.
Not even, because I'm my own person and I can make my own. We've disagreed before. Exhibit A, Rose's outfit from last episode that we disagreed on.
That was the long game.
That was, oh crap.
No,
oh my
dude,
God.
it's all melting together. Yeah.
Just like the gas mask on the faces. But anyway, that is something that I noticed. When we were watching the first episode and we got towards the end, I was like, there is something being primed here that I'm irritated that we haven't gotten to yet. Yeah. And I knew in the back of my head that it was, she's probably his mom, like not, but I was like, can we just come out and say it? Why is this 2 episodes?
I didn't understand why it was a 2-parter.
No.
It didn't need to be. I felt like there was so much, like, fluff in there and things were being stretched ahead. Like, I feel like he used Nancy especially to stretch it ahead because, like, she just kept withholding information and then that would add, like, 10 extra minutes that didn't need to be in there.
Exactly.
And, like, I get why she would want to withhold some information, but, like, at a certain point, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, just speak.
It was drawn out.
It was really annoying.
Yeah. And I have to wonder if Moffat demanded it be a 2-parter. He was like, this story's too big, or if the showrunners were like, we want to make a 2-parter. Like, I really have to wonder what the logic behind that was, because it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me.
And another thing?
Yeah.
Okay, there's this YouTube video. It's about it's called Doctor Who versus Women, and there's spoilers in there. So I don't know if you would want to watch it at this point in time.
Okay.
I forget the YouTuber's name, but that's the title of the video, and she makes other really good videos. So
we'll link it in the description.
Okay, yeah, I'll figure that out. I'll figure out how to do that. But anyway, yeah, it talks about like a lot of the issues with Stephen Moffat's writing and how he doesn't really know how to write women, and you see it with Nancy, and while I did like how coy Rose was,
I felt it with Rose too.
Yeah, because Rose is flirty, but like
that's not all she is.
Exactly, and she was just so flirty the entire time, and like there was nothing. She didn't contribute anything.
And something that bothered me. I mean, I mentioned it before about her being like, oh, what you were saying words then. Like, that's not Rose. Rose would be asking questions. She would be like, what are you talking about? Even if somebody is handsome, she would not be so swept away that she wouldn't be questioning things. Yeah. Because she's curious.
She's curious.
And she's smart.
Yeah.
And this was not necessarily her best moment. I mean, she had some, like, in the action bits where she, pointed things towards the floor, got them out and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know.
You know what? At those points, it almost felt like Moffat was like, oh yeah, Rose is here too. We need to make her do something.
Exactly.
And he just like kind of like gave that role to her.
Exactly.
Like, It sucks because she cares about people too. Whenever she meets someone new, she wants to know everything about them and everything about their lives. And obviously she would flirt with Jack. Obviously she would love dancing with him. But she would definitely ask more questions about like the time period he's from. Like she would want to find out more about him and his life and what he does for a living. Like I honestly, I don't see this as a flaw of Rose's character. It was a flaw in Moffat's writing. Yeah. And like, man, I didn't like it. Did not do it for me. And it just reminded me of all the shit that he does in the future. And
which we'll get to.
When I get my hands on you,
I'll wring your Moffat neck. I'll wring it.
But thank you for bringing an American into the show.
Yeah, it was much needed. Much needed. Every time he spoke, I was like, oh, thank God.
Music to my ears.
Well, so, and here's the thing. I like Eccleston's accent a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And Rose, I love Rose in general. But all of this, especially this episode with all the children. I'm sorry, if you're a British child and you're listening to this, I'm sorry. But I literally...
But you sound like you're from Oliver and you need to like...
The second note I wrote is, I hate children. Which I think is when Jamie like came on screen for the first time. And I just want to let it be known that Sarah said, push him. When he came on screen.
Yeah, I like did it. Okay, like I did not catch on that like she was his mother. I like fully forgot that was even like a plot point. And so when he was like cornering her, I was like, bro, like he's 5. Like hit him with the chair. Like
that was really good.
He's not that hard to fight. Like, come on.
Yeah, let me just smack my son with a steel chair.
Isn't even your son anymore at that point. His face is a gas mask.
That is the thing.
Kill him.
Right? Like, she would not survive the zombie apocalypse.
No. She wouldn't. She wouldn't be able to kill him if he turned into a zombie.
It's true. Which, what are you gonna do?
Give them guns.
Give them guns.
Guns.
Oh, man. Well, that was good. I think, is there anything else you want to add? I think I honestly didn't write a lot of notes because I was like watching the episode and I was like, oh, you know, and also I was tired after recording 4 episodes in a row.
I wrote, in all caps. Okay, no, I wrote bisexual Riz with a lot of Z's.
Oh, at the same time, I wrote bisexual slay with a bunch of hearts all around it.
And then in all caps after that, I wrote American bisexual Riz, and then all Americans are hot bisexual soldier sluts.
I think you're right for that. I think you're right.
I love just being like patriotic when I think that people from another country are listening to me, even if I'm not a patriotic person.
That's so real, though. You have to play it up. Like, we can't let them know that we hate it here, too.
No.
You know?
No.
I'm like, oh, God, no. Don't worry, I love Joe Biden. As, like, the Biden blast is targeted on my head. Like, take him out, Kamala. That's not what he sounds like. That was like an impression of Jacques Antoine Bailey, the pronouncer of the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
What?
If you know, you know.
This is another thing. I want to know if like people understand these. Like, I need someone who like is listening and knows who like the Jesus Christ Superstar guy from 2001 is.
I'm pretty sure it's 2001. Oh, Jacques Antoine Bailey is.
Yeah.
Jacques Antoine Bailey.
Jacques Antoine Bailey.
Yeah. He sounds like this. That's exactly what he sounds like.
Do you watch the National Spelling Bee?
No, he's my professor.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he's my professor.
And he announces the National Spelling Bee?
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, Jacques and Leslin, if you're listening, shout out. I really liked that shepherd's pie you made that one time at dinner.
Yummy.
Yummy. Also, speaking of references, just throwing this in. The actor who plays Gaius in Merlin was in this episode. And I straight up did not even need to see him. I heard his voice and I was like, Gaius? And it was him.
The recycling of British actors is so real.
So real.
No, it's really funny because upstairs, we're recording in my basement. Upstairs, my mother and her boyfriend are watching Harry Potter. And I bet you, like, 5 of the actors in the movie they're watching right now, I think it's like Deathly Hallows, were probably in this episode at some point.
I was gonna say if it was the one, you know, I just learned the other day that Barty Crouch Jr. is David Tennant.
Really?
Yes. I did not realize that.
Come on.
I didn't.
I feel like that's like level 1, like, Tumblr freak knowledge.
I literally know him in, like, every other role.
Besides Barty Crouch Jr.
Besides Barty Crouch Jr., which is crazy because I had a really big Harry Potter phase, as you are probably well aware.
I am aware of that.
But I never, ever, ever made that connection.
He gets kind of overshadowed by Edward.
That is the thing.
Yeah. Like, no one, like, talks about him unless, like, they know.
Exactly. And I watched that movie when I was like 10. So
you wouldn't have known.
Exactly.
He does a great job.
He always does a great job. He's
crazy.
David Tennant.
Yeah.
Dr. What?
Follow us on our socials at Dr. What Podcast on Instagram and Tumblr.
And there may be periods in between the words there on Instagram. We still haven't checked.
It's only been like, it's 2 weeks for you guys, but it's been like 2 hours maybe?
Minutes?
40 minutes? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Time
What's
isn't real.
time? Wibbly, wobbly, timey, wimey. Alonzi, Dr. What?